Canada is facing a harsh reality. The global energy transition, the switch from fossil fuels to clean sources of energy like electricity and hydrogen, is transforming the global economy. Canada's been very prosperous in that economy, but times are changing and we're going to have to adapt with it. Take, for example, electric vehicles. They use different parts. They've got batteries and electronics, and they're fueled by electricity. And we're going to need a whole lot more of that. So the EV example shows just, if you apply it to the rest of the economy, it shows you just how much work we have to do. A couple of weeks ago, Federal Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland promised more muscular industrial policy. So what does that mean? Well, she wants to help businesses and workers adapt to these changes. So Natural Resources Minister Jonathan Wilkinson was in Vancouver yesterday, and he was explaining what Ottawa means by industrial policy and why that's so important.
As we think forward to an economy that's going to look quite different and where oil and gas are going to be less significant drivers of economic growth, we're going to have to be a lot more thoughtful about how we actually marshal our resources, how we utilize those, how we actually ensure that we're turning those into opportunities not just to export raw goods, but to actually export technology and technology solutions.
Wilkinson says that Ottawa has a three-pronged industrial policy strategy.
We have a three-pronged strategy. One is putting in place a price on pollution. It should not be free to pollute anywhere in this country. And that incents people and businesses to make appropriate decisions that take into account the pollution that they are creating. It also creates incentives for innovation. The second is regulation, as you said, where we are regulating, for example, the phase out of coal. We will be bringing in a clean electricity standard to further clean up the grid. And there are a range of regulatory mechanisms that can help us to move more quickly. But the third is investments, and those can be direct investments through the Strategic Innovation Fund or other things, or they can be done through the tax system, which are more broad-based, which are exactly what we're talking about today.
Carbon pricing, regulations, and financial incentives in the form of subsidies or tax credits. Now, Dr. Christina Gyenge, co-founder and CEO of Agora Energy Technologies, it's a Vancouver company building a battery based on CO2, she was at the press conference, and I had a chance to talk to her to get her impressions of what Wilkinson was saying about industrial policy.
You have to have the political will and the geopolitical environment to progress in the clean tech field. So from this point of view is very encouraging. It's also encouraging that there is an intent to switch from exporting natural resources to actually utilizing them, creating technology, and get more value out of the technological output. So all these parts are very encouraging.
Will the federal government's new focus on industrial policy be enough? Well, I've interviewed many global experts, and they pretty much agree that Canada has maybe 3 to 7 years to adapt to these changes that are coming in the global economy. That's 2030. After that, supply chains will have formed, other countries will be in ahead of us, and that makes it very, very difficult. So Chrystia Freeland has promised more industrial policy will be rolled out with the spring federal budget. And we're very interested to see how Ottawa rolls out the existing programs and the impact on the Canadian economy, but particularly Canada's energy sector.